What's going on, everybody? This is Tiger War Eagle 14, and today we are going to be taking a look at the 2018 Auburn Tiger football schedule. Now, I've already seen Uncle Lou's prediction of the Tigers this year, and some of his predictions are pretty good, but there's two games I think that have me questioning about his prediction. Those two games were Washington and Mississippi State. Now, he could have a good reason about Washington, but I'm going to get to that here in just a second. Anyway, let's dive on into the 2018 Auburn schedule. So as I said, Auburn opens up the year against the Washington Huskies at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Now, Uncle Lou said that Auburn's probably going to that they're probably not going to do much against Washington. That's Uncle Lou's prediction on Auburn against Washington. I prove otherwise. Let's face it, Washington lost 5 players to the NFL draft. 3 of those guys were great defensive players, great players. One of those was Vita V. Correct, please forgive me if I said his name wrong, but I'm trying. Vita V, drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that guy would scare any offensive line. But the reason why that everyone's saying Auburn and Washington could be an even matchup and maybe Washington wins, I have a different opinion on that. Of course, that's was Uncle Lou's opinion. This is mine. So there you go. Washington probably, in my opinion, plays in the easiest conference in all of college football, the Pac-12 North. They have 3 teams maybe 3 or 4 teams that weren't good last year, like Oregon 7-6, California was 5-7, Oregon State was 1-11 last year. I mean, a couple years ago, Oregon State was all right, just not good enough for a BCS as it was at the time. And they look at Auburn, of course. They want to get back to unfinished business. They want to win the West again. It may not happen, but they want to do as best as they can. And then you look at the defense for Washington. I don't even know any seniors that are on the team, so forgive me. But on offense, you got for Auburn, you have Darius Slayton, Ryan Davis, Will Hastings, Nick Craig Myers, Jalen Harris, Caleb Kim, Mike Horton, Chandler Cox, Cam Martin. He'll be making his first start against Washington. Jarrett Stidham. This is an offense that's loaded with experience. Washington's defense, some of these guys that are probably juniors now, they know what it's like to play an SEC defense. It could be a big factor, but you think about it. The last time Washington played against Alabama, or Washington's defense played against an SEC team, rather, it was 3 years ago. And they may remember what plays that an SEC West team would run, but I don't think it's going to be enough for Washington. And of course, Washington's offense. The only 2 guys I know that could be a big factor are Myles Gaskins and Jake Browning. That's it. And everybody's treating Jake Browning like he's an NFL quarterback. He could be. Not now. Not in the first game of the year. Myles Gaskins, pretty good running back. I've seen his highlights. Stud. But like I said, they're playing at the easiest conference in all of college football. They could easily run the ball against anybody in the Pac-12. So with that said, Washington's offense will not do anything against Auburn. They'll probably score at least 1 touchdown. And I have the Auburn beating Washington 35-10, at least 35, maybe 38-10. It'll be close to the first quarter, but I think Auburn gets out of Atlanta with a win. Another win over the Pac-12. I think they have at least 2 losses against the Pac-12 team. Somebody let me know if I'm right or not. But like I said, Auburn wins easily over Washington. Now the next game, the first game at home. Currently Auburn has, I think, a 16-game winning streak at home. And they'll put that up against the Alabama State Hornets, a team traveling 60 miles to the east to play Auburn for the very first time. Kind of crazy that's the first time Auburn is playing Alabama State, when Auburn's played Alabama A&M twice and they've played Jacksonville State. And let me go ahead and say it. That was a horrendous game. Of course, that game happened back in 2015. But now Auburn's got a lot of experience playing against in-state teams like Alabama State, or like Alabama A&M or Jacksonville State. So I think Auburn has no problem with Alabama State. They'll put in the backups probably in the second, probably after halftime in the third quarter. But so Auburn wins this game easily over the Hornets. I'm sorry, Alabama State fans, if you're watching this. I'm sorry. Auburn crushes y'all, probably 56-3, 56-0. That defense is gonna be lit against Alabama State. So Easily gets it done over the Hornets. Now here's where things could get interesting. LSU, in my opinion, it's going to be a mystery team to me. Will they be good? Will they not be good? Some people are saying they'll be good on and off. A lot of people say they won't be good. In my opinion, when it comes to Auburn and LSU, you know that game is going to be filled with a lot of, first hatred and then passion. LSU is going into this game. They in the first game of the year they'll play Miami. Of course, that's in Arlington, Texas, in Jerry World. So when you look at Auburn and LSU, you wonder what is LSU capable of. I mean, last year, let's look last year. Auburn was up 24-3 against LSU, and of course everything collapsed from there thanks to robot Gus Malzahn beep-boop read option or triple op. No, not triple option. I can't do it right. Anyway, Auburn's going into this game hungry to beat LSU. They're wanting revenge after last year. LSU, like I said, it's going to be a mystery team. You never know what LSU is going to do. And I think what LSU will do is, they'll do everything they can, but I don't think they'll do anything against Auburn. It'll probably be a close game, but then Auburn will pull away late. I think my final score for Auburn, my final score for Auburn LSU is going to be probably 21-14. 24-14. Let's put it that way. 24-14. The defense will probably slack a little bit, but I think they'll get it done against LSU. Auburn beats LSU 24-14. And for the third week in a row, Auburn will be at home. This time against Arkansas Razorbacks, a team that's coming in with their first-year head coach Chad Morris, a good friend of Gus Malzahn from his Arkansas high school days. I guess the same could be said for Arkansas. We all know what they're going to do, but in my opinion, I think Arkansas, it's going to take a few years before Arkansas becomes relevant again. Hopefully it won't be just like the Brett Bielema days. I do hope Arkansas climbs back into the top of the college football mountain. Not all the way to the top at least, but I'm hoping, sorry Razorback fans, but I'm hoping they become good again and they'll be able to compete for the West. But at this point, I have Auburn beating Arkansas 42-17. 42-10, let's put it that way, or 42-14. I got Auburn winning 42-14 against Arkansas. Next game will be at home, homecoming against Southern Mississippi, the Golden Eagles of Southern Miss. Now, there are some things I could say about Southern Miss. They're a pretty good team as far as their conference goes. Conference USA, of course, that's the same conference UAB competes in. And they've competed with Auburn over the years. I think they've met maybe 7 or 8 times in the past, maybe 5 times. And I think they beat Auburn 1 time, but that was because he had Brett Favre, greatest player of all time. But I'm sorry, Brett Favre is not there anymore. But I have seen, of course, yeah, duh. But I've seen Southern Miss compete with other SEC teams like Kentucky. I think several years ago they beat Kentucky after being down by 21 points after halftime, or halfway through the third quarter. But that won't be said the same against Auburn. Sorry, Southern Miss. Brett Favre's not there to save your life. He's not there anymore. He won't be there to save you. But so Auburn wins this game big, at probably 49-17. 49-17 Auburn over Southern Mississippi. Next game on the road, first true road game of the year for the Tigers. That game will be at Mississippi State. Now, this is one of the games that Uncle Lou has me confused on for Mississippi State. He thinks that it's all because Nick Fitzgerald, he's a one-man machine, or he's a one-man wrecking ball team, whatever you call that. Now, that's his opinion. Like I said, that's his opinion. I'm going with mine. Nick Fitzgerald, a one-man team, will not beat Auburn. Even though this game is being played in Stark Vegas, with the cowbells, with the farmers. If this game is an 11 a.m. game, I think Mississippi State struggles. But if it was a night game, it would be a hard time for Auburn to handle Mississippi State. the only thing I can hope for is if this game is either played at 11 a.m., maybe 2:30, and if that happens one of those two ways, I think Auburn wins this game. If this game was played at night, I'd say Mississippi State wins. They'll be given Auburn's first loss, but not this way to me. So if this game is played at 11 a.m., 2:30, I'll say Auburn wins. So with that said, Auburn wins the game. Or heck, they could win either way. After a tough road game at Mississippi State, the Tigers will come home to take on Tennessee for the first time since 2013, and it'll also be the first time Auburn has hosted Tennessee since 2008. Let's go ahead and be honest here. Let me go ahead and be honest. Auburn wins. No explanation. It's just that Tennessee. I'm sorry, Tennessee fans, and I'm sorry to my good friend Squid Tard. He's a Tennessee fan. He's got me hooked up for his YouTube series, so I thank him for that. But when it comes to games, I'm sorry, Squid Tard, and I'm sorry, Tennessee Nation, but y'all absolutely suck. I mean, look at what happened last year. 0-8 in the conference. You lose to Georgia 41-0. You only scored 7 against Alabama, and it was all because of that. It was because of a pick 6, and of course some Tennessee player that got drafted who decided to flip off Bama Nation, which I think is a savage move for a guy from Tennessee or anywhere other than Alabama. But I'm sorry, Tennessee. It's not happening. You're not beating Auburn, especially at Jordan-Hare Stadium. This is one of those games for Tennessee where, this is in the middle of the season where Tennessee is where things get really tough. Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Auburn. Those four, I think, Georgia, Alabama, and Auburn. The 3 toughest teams in the West. That's going to be tough. I just don't see Tennessee beating Auburn. I don't see them beating Alabama, and I definitely don't see them beating Georgia. So with that said, Auburn beats Tennessee 35-3 at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Once again, Auburn will be going on the road for the second time in 2018. They'll head to Vaught-Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, Mississippi to take on the Ole Miss Rebels. And again, a home field advantage is key to having a good season or bad season, or heck, a good team. One of those things. But especially Ole Miss, one of those teams that didn't go to the bowl game last year. They were 6-6, but they were on probation, I think. So this is where I could say Auburn either loses or wins. But if this game was played at 2:30, let's say this game was a CBS game, and Ole Miss came in with how many weeks are we in? 7? With at least a 5-2 record, maybe a 4-2 record. I'm not sure, but let's say that. Of course, the first game of the year is at Houston, Texas, against Texas Tech. But with that out of the way, Auburn traveling to Oxford is always a tough road game. 2014, it was a key. It was a key college football playoff matchup. Auburn was ranked 3rd. Ole Miss was ranked 4th, and Auburn came out of Oxford with a win. Of course, Dante Moncrief broke his ankle on what could have been the game-winning touchdown, but it was overturned because they lost the ball in the end zone. I mean, of course, that broke my heart for that young man, but I was glad Auburn won the game. The next year, and the next time Auburn went back to Oxford, it was another close game, but Auburn pulled away late in the second half. And then once again, you're going back to Ole Miss. You're playing against Ole Miss again. If it's a night game, of course, if it's a night game, I don't know if Auburn would win. Of course, Ole Miss, like I said, coming off that probation from last year, and I think they're eligible for a bowl game this year. But at the end of the day, what's going to take for Auburn to win this game is a good offense. Ole Miss does have a good defense, but it probably won't be enough for Ole Miss to beat Auburn. So with that said, I have Auburn beating the Rebels. Wait, no, the Bears. Oh no, okay, I'm sorry. The Ole Miss Land Sharks, or whatever you call those people, whatever you call those guys. Rebels, Bears, Land Sharks. I'm sorry. All right, you got to either keep your name like it is or don't. If you change it again from Land Sharks, then you're going to be the most confusing university in all of college football. But again, I have Auburn beating Ole Miss 28 to 17. 28-17 Auburn. After another week on the road, the Tigers will come home to take on Texas A&M. Of course, Texas A&M was the last team to beat Auburn at Jordan-Hare Stadium in any conference, any team, even in the SEC. Of course, to those of you who don't know this, since Texas A&M joined the SEC, the home team has not won. The home team is 0-6 in the Auburn-Texas A&M series since the Aggies joined the SEC. Let's go ahead and take a look at the headlines. Jimbo Fisher taking on Auburn in I guess you could say a rematch from the 2005 2014 national championship game when Auburn had that miracle year when they beat Georgia and Alabama on final minute plays. Of course, Texas A&M coming off getting rid of Kevin Sumlin. He's now at Arizona. So to A&M, it's gonna be like LSU. It's gonna be like LSU mostly. I don't know about Arkansas, but it's probably gonna be like LSU, a mystery team. Will they be good? Will they be bad? I don't even know who's the quarterback for A&M. Someone's gonna have to let me know. But I think that drought of the visiting team beating the home team in this series, I think that comes to an end. Auburn will finally break the drought, and they'll be the first home team in the Auburn A&M series to win at home, and they'll keep their home winning streak alive for another week. Now, these next two conference games, excluding the Liberty game, this is probably going to what defines Auburn in 2018. The Georgia game, of course, is going to be tough because it's played in Georgia. This game could go 50 ways. The first reason, it's played in Georgia. Second reason, it's a rematch from the SEC title game. Third reason, it's the rematch from the regular season matchup.
8 hours later.
And the 50th reason, it's home field advantage. I think the game is going to be close. It will be close. I promise you it will be close because if you look at Georgia's schedule, look at their schedule. Austin Peay at home against Georgia, Middle Tennessee. And then you have the worst teams in the SEC East like Tennessee, Vanderbilt. They got to go on the road at LSU. That's going to be tough for Georgia. Florida, of course. Kentucky, of course. And then you get to the Auburn game. Now, if Auburn comes into this game undefeated and Georgia comes into this game undefeated, both teams are going to be licking their chops. Because, first off, Auburn's playing a tough, like always, a tough schedule. Tough schedules is what's going to define a team. Just like last year for Auburn, they had to travel on the road to Clemson. They had to play two number one teams in the country, Georgia and Alabama, in 3 different weeks. So with this said, everyone's going to be shocked at what I'm about to say. But I think Auburn beats Georgia in Athens on a game-winning field goal by Anders Carlson. Of course, that's Daniel Carlson's little brother, on probably a 58-yard field goal to win the game. Or it could be just an easy field goal. But if Georgia wins the East, then they could come back to Atlanta and play Auburn again for the SEC title and all that. With all that said. But with all this said, I have Auburn beating Georgia 13-10. Let's go with that. 13-10. It'll be a defensive struggle. It'll be a defensive showdown. Auburn beats Georgia between the hedges for the first time since like 2006, I think. So after a miracle finish between the hedges against Georgia, Auburn comes back home for senior day or senior night, whenever it's going to be, to take on the Liberty Flames. Now, I don't know why they're called Liberty. I guess God bless America. You know, oh say, can you see all this? But anyway, Liberty, I think this team was a good FCS team when they used to play against teams like Jacksonville State, Kennesaw State, all those other good FCS teams back a couple years ago. I think they're going to be a Sun Belt team. I think they are. But I don't think it's going to be it won't be a close game. Auburn wins this game easily on senior day or senior night. They'll get out of Jordan-Hare for the last time, undefeated once again at home for the for the second year in a row, I believe. Second year in a row, yeah. Second year in a row. They'll go undefeated at home. They'll beat Liberty and get ready for the Iron Bowl against Alabama. And finally, Auburn will go on the road to Bryant-Denny Stadium, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, to face the Crimson Tide of Alabama in a rematch from last year's SEC West deciding game. This year, with the way Auburn's season's gone this year, undefeated. Same could be said for Alabama, undefeated as well, heading into the Iron Bowl. The winner of this game could win the SEC West and go to Atlanta to probably face Georgia. But you look at Alabama's schedule. First game of the year, they'll take on Louisville. They'll come home to play Arkansas State, travel to Ole Miss, host Texas A&M, host Louisiana. They're called Lafayette, but they rather go by Louisiana, Raging Cajuns. They'll travel to Arkansas, host Missouri, travel to Tennessee, travel to LSU, host Mississippi State, play the Citadel at home. Again, it's a pretty easy schedule if you look at it. I mean, if Lamar Jackson was still at Louisville, the odds of that game could drop a little bit from Alabama's favor. But still, I'd say Louisville is an easy game for Alabama. That's my opinion. It's my opinion. At Arkansas, Arkansas not good, but it could be close. It could be a night game. At Tennessee, it'll probably be a 2:30 game, maybe an 11 a.m. game. I wouldn't be surprised. LSU, without a doubt, will be a night game because, the old saying goes, the sun will soon find its home in the western sky, and it'll be Saturday night in Death Valley, yada, yada, yada. But I think Alabama gets out of Baton Rouge with a win. They'll host Mississippi State, beat them easily. They'll host Citadel, beat them easily. And then the Iron Bowl. Of course, a lot of drama going on over there in Tuscaloosa. Jalen Hurts bashing the Alabama fans. Or I don't know what's going on over there. That's not my business. I'm just pointing out some things. But again, this game could decide the SEC West. Both teams could be undefeated, or Auburn could come in with one loss. Alabama could come in with one loss. This game will go either way. Just like the Georgia game, it all depends on home field advantage. All depends on what the headline of the game is. It could depend on any of that stuff. Gosh, I don't know who to pick here. If these teams end up in, like I said, if these teams end up in the Iron Bowl undefeated, at least maybe with at least one loss, it'll be a close. It'll be a very, very deciding game. Of course, home field advantage. I said that with the Georgia team. Of course, Auburn hadn't won there at Between the Hedges since 2006, but when it comes to the Iron Bowl, Auburn they could be the underdogs, even with one loss, or even if they're undefeated, they come into this game with, as underdogs. So with that said, the way this game could go, of course, the winner wins the West if things go according to plan. So with this said, a lot of you will be shocked. I have, and I'm not trying to be a homer. I'm just going by what I think will happen. Like I said, not a homer. I'm just going by what my opinion states. Home field advantage is going to be key to this year, and the talent of these players. Alabama's defense is coming back. Auburn's defense is coming back. So with that said, Auburn beats Alabama in Tuscaloosa to win the West. They'll go on to Atlanta and they'll play Georgia again. And there could be something said for Malzahn. Like, if that cameraman wasn't there after that first Georgia game, and when he said we beat the dog crap out of them, of course there was a cameraman there. He hadn't said, if the cameraman wasn't there, none of that would have happened. Auburn could have won. I don't know. That game could have won either way. But with that said, Auburn beats Alabama in a close Iron Bowl game. Final score, Auburn 10, Alabama 7. Auburn will go to Atlanta to play Georgia to play for the SEC title game. Again, these are my opinions. I thank y'all for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the page. Like I said, I want to give credit to Squidtard for giving me the opportunity to be on his series. Go subscribe to his channel if you haven't yet. He's got over 300 subscribers now. That's pretty cool. Meanwhile, I'm at the bottom of the barrel with only nearly 40 subscribers. So if y'all can, go subscribe to the Squidtard's page. Then come back to my page, subscribe, click the bell, like, comment, all that stuff. Thanks again for watching, guys, and have a good morning. Also, I want to thank a few other people for subscribing to my channel. Of course, Squidtard, great person, and I guess a great friend, even though I don't know him personally. Also, Squidtard's evil twin, and make sure, like I said, go subscribe to those guys. They're great people. And also, thanks for 37 subscribers. That means a lot. A few months ago, or last year, I had about 20, maybe 30. No, it was like 33. Now I'm up to 37, even though that's a slow climb. But make sure you keep adding or subscribing to me. Make sure you share this to your friends, all my other videos and stuff. I don't want to be one of the best YouTubers. I just want to be, giving my opinions about college football and other sports and my opinions on other headlines. So, again, thank you for watching. And stay tuned for a message at the end of the video. Again, thanks for watching, and have a good morning, everybody.